This is a video response to God exists, atheists, I'll prove it scientifically. Of course, I can't respond directly to the video because that's been blocked, probably from tons of videos like this, but I thought I'd take the liberty to make my own response. First off, the video suggests that nothing can only create nothing. That notion is unreasonable because we don't know what nothing is. There's not a definition for what nothing is in terms of actual matter. We know that nothing exists. We know that it's a state of existence, but we can't give it qualities. We can't determine that it is actually the absence of anything. And even at that, being that it would be the absence of anything, that's a quality of nothing. So it can't really escape the boundaries of qualities of having some kind of it can't not possess some kind of entity. It has to be something, even if we define it as nothing. And we don't know that nothing existed before our universe. That's just an assumption. Also, nothing has been theorized to be a state of existence that is so unstable that it could not have existed because matter can't be nothing. It's too unstable. I'll get off that point. Something most probably has always existed. However, there is no reason for this something to have been sentient. There's no reason that the singularity that was the beginning of the Big Bang had to have some kind of conscience behind it. That, there's nothing that would suggest that it would have to have that. Though the energy that started the universe may not have always existed in the known universe, there that in no way signifies that it did not exist in some kind of primordial universe and gave rise to what we recognize today as the universe, to suggest that there was something, that the energy could not have existed in some form of existence other than what we recognize as the universe. There's nothing to suggest that. We don't know what came before, what's going to come after. It could just be a cycle of universes for all we know. That's completely unknown. You can't just put in assumptions about stuff like that. To claim that the energy source had power beyond anything we can imagine is to give it a false definition. Being that we don't know, we can't make blind assumptions. Just because you can't comprehend what that energy what could have held, what kind of power that might have had, doesn't mean, that it had that power. Doesn't mean that it was something that we can't comprehend. It means we don't know. Energy did not have to come from outside of the universe, as the video suggests. There, there must have been a before, and that's likely the origin of the energy. There probably isn't some outside force looking in on our universe, but there definitely is a before, and there was probably a before that. Being that, as the video so quaintly points out, energy is eternal and cannot be created nor destroyed. It is unreasonable to assume that this enormous energy was God, because you are again giving it false definition. Because it is beyond your comprehension, you are assigning it a transcendent title which accredits it with much more power, definition, direction, and responsibility than it can be proven to have. Again, because you don't understand something does not mean that it has all these qualities that a benevolent God would have. Because something is dumb and unconscious does not make it incapable of facilitating what we perceive as design. The universe could have an entirely different arrangement, and we would still probably recognize this as a type of design. Secondly, the designs observed in the universe are rather congruent, as in the same patterns are observed over and over again. You see the similar patterns in almost everything. Likely, the reason for this would be because the patterns are governed by nature. There's a natural order that things are aligned in. Why would a benevolent creator design things in such a similar fashion? If you were designing things, would you try to make everything follow suit with everything else? I'm more creative than that. I wouldn't be like, "Oh, here's my universe. I hope everything looks the same now." Observing order from unconsciousness is not illogical, as the video tries to point out. We see order in the patterns of weathering by rain, wind, saline solutions, etc., all of which possess no consciousness whatsoever, but they have definite order and definite patterns to the way that they work. You can recognize when something's been weathered by wind, but wind isn't conscious. Finally, the video continuously makes the proposition that the universe did not always exist, and so that that is a basis of evidence for some kind of reasoning there that, I mean, it just doesn't make sense, but this is why it doesn't make sense. Just because the universe did not always exist, like, they say that Stephen Hawking made this generalization. Just because the universe did not always exist does not mean that there was there was absolutely nothing before our universe. That means that the universe that we understand and can comprehend generally today did not always exist. That does not mean that there wasn't a universe before our universe. That doesn't mean that there wasn't a universe before the universe that was before our universe. It also doesn't mean that there was a universe before our universe or any of that. It means that we know that there was something before our universe, something before what we understand to be our universe, but that doesn't in any way mean that there was nothing, that it was definably the lack of anything in existence. That's pretty much all I have to say about this video. I think it's a pretty shoddy excuse of trying to prove that God exists, and I think it really misinterpreted science in general. So way to go. You really did a bang up job on that one.